All right. Hello, everyone. I think it's time to start the next presentation, scripting doors. Let's go. So I'm grateful to be here and present to you scripting doors, programming at the service of design. So let me present myself really quickly. Nice to meet you. I'm Evan and I like to make games. I'm specialized in game programming and my latest contribution is Let Them Come Onslaught, made with Unreal Engine, where I contributed to game programming and design. So I try to make this presentation as accessible as possible, but don't hesitate to ask any question. And first, let me do a short introduction about the topic for today. I'd like to share my perspective on scripting. So first, we can draw a line between the player and the hardware, what is used to make games. To play games. So the hardware can be the console, the PC, anything like that. Thank you for the donation. At Argue, video game are software. So we can position them here. Software developers will focus on programming to make the game as robust as possible. And to me, scripting is also programming, but this is about focusing on delivering the experience. I believe scripting is a great tool for game developer because you can, it is simple enough to be picked up by less technical developer. It allows for cross-discipline communication about the logic of the game, which I think is valuable. Software programming is about putting a lot of effort into developing system, optimizing, debugging, making sure the player get a reliable game at the end. And programming the game is scripting. Essentially, how the game looks can change. Essentially, how the code will look can change a lot based on the purpose. So I can easily dive deeper into this topic, but I think that's enough to understand the meaning I give behind what I mean for scripting. We will have a Q&A at the end, so if you have any question, feel free to ask. All right, so today we will try to script a door from scratch and then improvise. And then we will use some concept arts and assets I prepared in advance in order to script a door and see what happens. I will be implementing them in Godot because I like using it, and it allows me to provide to showcase at least to you accessible scripts. So it should be easier to follow. All right, let's get into scripting first. So let's start scripting a door with 0 requirements. So let me move to Godot. Boom. All right. We are into it. So I have 0 requirement. I'm gonna have to improvise and making a door from what I know about doors. So I can imagine we're gonna have a mesh to sort of a cube. Whoop. Let's see. I guess it's a bit flat. A certain 8, like so. Maybe a little bit more. No. Okay. Like that. Let's give it some color. Maybe it's a little brown because it's made with wood. Maybe if we're I don't know. Right. let's say mesh. Now we want the door to be able to rotate. So for that, we are gonna need a pivot point. I'm gonna create a body for that. So let's get some node and we'll call body, and I will offset it a little bit over here. So we can have some rotation. Thank you for the donation, Kizu. All right, here's the rotation. Wonderful. What else do I need? Maybe a door handle. Whoop. Oh yeah, let's put it in an accessible way. Maybe I can do something that looks like this. Doesn't have to be up. A little bit on the side. And even smaller. All right, we got the handle. So I guess we could start scripting the door. But I imagine we will want to be able to interact it in some ways, and I will be doing that in a very simple way. I guess if the mouse goes on top of it, it just opens. That's what I'm gonna do, and that way we can even make it close if we leave it. But I'm just gonna do the opening of it. It's gonna be good enough. Okay, so let's do some scripts. Yeah, door. That works for me. I'm saying bye-bye to all of this. And I'm just gonna call it door 3D maybe, but it's fine, just door. So in Godot, it's possible to drag and drop object directly into the script. So here I can have a direct reference, but if I press Control, I can get the object immediately like so as a variable. So this is pretty convenient. And technically I could do this and then write ready body. So when the game starts, we can, oh yeah, I forgot to change it to something that can interact with the mouse. Okay, let's do this. Change type, static body. And now I just need to add, as it says, a collision shape. So we're gonna do this. Collision shape, like so. We move it a little bit like this, and that should be fine. Let's call it collision. And now it should allow us, if we do this, now we should have mouse entered. So technically I could connect it and then write some function, but for the purpose of this stream, I'm gonna do it in a more simple way. And for that, we can go into node. We have the signals here, and I can click on mouse entered, connect it to my door, like so, and I get a function directly. So that is wonderful. It's much easier to read. I'm just not a fan of the fact there is a reference, but it's great to explain what I'm doing. So yeah, it needs to open. Oh. Okay, I think my driver is crashed. My graphic driver is crashing. So I'm gonna have some glitch, and then it should be fine. Okay, wait a bit. Okay, I'm gonna reopen Godot. Sorry for that. My AMD driver just crashed. Unrelated to the engine. It's just happening since a certain Windows update. All right, I'm back into the engine. All good. Okay, so I have my script. I think I lost the reference, so I'm just gonna write it again. Whoop, connect, and boom. Let's go. So in order to do my door that opens, I could write something that change the value of it, but my intuition is to do some very minimalistic animation. And I'm just going to take that little guy, move to maybe 1, open it, and over. And now, yay, it opens. I guess it could close on its own. That should work as well. Let's take this, and then at the end, some easing, and now, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I got my open animation, which I'm gonna call here. So I can reuse my control drop, and then animation player, play, open. Here you go. We got the door. Can move it a bit more in the middle like before. And it opens up if we interact with the mouse, as you can see. All right. Sorry for the technical issues. Let's go back to the presentation. So what happens if you try prototyping a door by jumping into scripting directly? We improvised quite a lot, as you can see, since we are missing assets and design. We try to find ways to represent what we want. And there's like unknown requirements which create a strong tension. Right now the door was simple enough, but the whole thing is difficult to estimate. Like if you leave me like this for a while and we say there's gonna be doors in the game, maybe I'm gonna start trying to predict how many doors we're gonna do. Thank you for the donation, Elmo. Maybe we're gonna have like certain ways to implement doors. I'm gonna start like doing placeholders, maybe overestimate what we need. And on the last side, we can have design limitation, like scripting door with that approach is only open to more technical individual, and it tends to encourage familiar solutions. So right now I scripted the door in a way that I'm aware of, but maybe we might want a different way to implement the door, and that is not explored because of that approach. So there are many use cases for this that I'm aware of. There's probably more. I know that you can try to mock up, to visualize the experience directly, have something that is interactable. You can experiment, like to explore some idea. You want to script something and see if it inspires you, or you're not sure if something is possible. That's a way to approach it. It can be fun as well to explore like this as a challenge, see how much can I do by only scripting. I think it's a fun challenge, and it's also pretty fast. We can achieve quick results. This is useful for game jams, small games, possibly. There are also some game engines that have more art tools integrated, like GameMaker or Construct. So you can improvise pixel art directly in the engine. I think it would be nice if we had more ways to improvise in game engines, but I think that's okay for now. All right, let's move on to design first. We're gonna prototype a door by starting with art. So I've already prepared all of it because it takes time and we will rely on it to do scripting. Here's the doors I made. My goal was simply to visualize different ideas just for the stream without relying necessarily on references. So their purpose is quite weak because we don't have a game, but that's enough for what we are doing today. I've selected the locked door to establish some clearer requirements. So here it is. We have some interaction by hovering, and it highlights the object of the padlock and the key. And we also have the way it interacts when you click. So when the pointer is pressed, you have an interaction on the padlock and the key opens the door. So I think these concepts are slightly overkill. We could have done them more in a drafty way. But showing it that way allows me to, or at least allows us to have a certain amount of information, which is useful for like how it changes colors here, what kind of SFX it plays, stuff like that. So yeah, let's jump into Godot again. Whoop. Here we go. Let's move that away from me. And we have the prison door here with the key. Wonderful. So I'm gonna create a new scene for that door. So since it is imported, we kind of want to do a special scene for that. And I'm gonna save in the same folder. And now we can add anything we want to it. So let's write a new script, prison door. All right. I'm gonna call it that way. And I can see all of the objects are separated. I do have an animation when it's locked and you click on it, and when it's unlocked. Okay, we have some sound effects. I'm gonna adjust the audio for you as well. And some PNG for VFX. So a lot of things to implement, but it should be fairly feasible. Okay, so see, like we did for the first door here, we also have some static body which we can use to implement our prison door. So let's do this. We are gonna need all of these ones, mouse input. Oh, thank you for the donation, Chocolatine. Go, Evan. All right. Okay. So let's add these signals to our body. Unstatic body, input event. Maybe it would be useful to rename it. to have a different name. So let's disconnect. Can't operate scene you inherit from. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna, in that case, rename that so it's easier to follow, and it's padlock input event. Can connect it. Connect. Padlock mouse centered. Bam. And padlock mouse exit. Okay. And now for the key. Boop. All right. Wonderful. I guess we can start by possibly playing the animation if we have an event. So if input event is pressed, then let's play the animation. So the padlock is the animation locked, and the key is open. Unlock. So that's good enough for now. We're gonna be adding the hovering here too, but let's showcase what we have for now. Gonna add it to the scene, and let's go. Okay, so if I click on that, the doors open. But as you can see, the key doesn't disappear. I can also click on that, but it does, how do I say? It does restart the previous animation, so we might want to make that impossible when you open the door. Okay, so let's see. I guess we could say if event is pressed and animation player current animation is not equal to unlock. I guess we can do this, but I wonder if the current animation is gonna stay. Let's see. Okay, that opens, and yeah, the current animation, once it's finished, it doesn't stay on. So in that case, we can have a Boolean that is called unlocked, for example. And when we press on the key, we unlock it. And if it's not unlocked, in that case, we can interact with the padlock. All right. Let's add the hovering. So I've already prepared the pointer hover little material that we can add onto the meshes as a material overlay, like so. So that's what we're going to add and remove based on the interaction. And for that, we need the references to key and padlock. Okay. Key, padlock, and padlock bar. So on padlock mouse entered, we can add a material overlay. That is the pointer hover. The same goes for that one. We can drag and drop it, and then use it here. And once we exit, we can just put it to null. We could also create a constant that is called empty and say null, which might look slightly better. But yeah, it's up to you. Okay, padlock, we also have the padlock bar. And same for that one. For the key, it's the same. So it's not too hard to follow, I believe. And the only thing I've noticed is that the key needs to disappear as well. What's convenient and is now that we have the mesh instance, we can easily set it to invisible. So visible is false. Awesome. And I guess even the door, we don't want it to be interactable again after. So I guess we can say if is not unlock, in that case interact with it. It sounds okay, I believe. We might, maybe we have everything we need. Let's see. Yay. So now hovering each of these objects, you can see them interacting. Wow. And now if you click on that, it opens. Awesome. I guess we might want to stop hovering in that case, but I think it's fine enough. That's okay. Did I miss anything? Yes. Sounds and VFX. So let's go add them while we are at it. Can I drag and drop them? Let's see. I think so. So I have, if we move back to the presentation capture a little bit, we have some ting, cling, and crick, and clonk. And also a few movements. So I'm guessing the crick is gonna be open. So let's go with that. Crick open. Here we have the new object. And once the thing is, it opens after a while in the animation. So if I play it just now, it's not going to work. There are multiple approaches to solve this problem. We could write another animation player that plays that animation player. But for the purpose of this presentation, I guess I'm gonna just use the time of this animation and delay the sound. I think that would be enough. Let's put it slightly lower too. And delay it by 0.55. So padlock, key input on the unlock here. I'm gonna add an await, gate 3, and create timer 0.55. And below that, I can play the sound. Crick, play. Awesome. Why do I have a warning? For the last one. Because the expression isn't a coroutine or a signal. Yes, right. I need to use my signal, which is timeout. So when the timer is complete, we can do this. So that, of course, is more closer to programming than scripting, in my opinion, because it's quite hard to read and understand. So a programmer might suggest writing something for you, or you might want to write that for yourself. Something that might be like, I don't know, seconds. And you return the signal. Something that kind of looks like this, I believe. I don't know if that works. Does it work? The time is not used. Okay, let me use the time here. I believe that should work fine, right? If I do this after seconds, maybe. You know, something like this that looks fine. We'll see if it works. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do it differently. Okay. So we have the creek that is implemented here. I guess let's test it while we are at it. Yeah, it works perfect. I'm checking a little bit my docs. So it's click and ting. Click and ting. So I guess the click is the door and the ting is the little key here. I guess I could put it in the key and put it at 0. Same go for the prison door. However, I might want that click to be re-implemented because it follows a specific path, which is click. So if I redo it, it shows up at the new path. All good. So yeah, I'm gonna add all of them right now. Clong, I think is padlock. Let's move it to the padlock. And click is opening of the prison door. I guess it's fine that way. Just moving them slightly, but it doesn't have a huge incidence at the moment. Okay, so click is beam. Moving all of them right now. Wonderful names. I already implemented ting. Yes, it's already here. So I need clong. Clong, I remember it well. It's the padlock. So let's play here. Ting is I forgot. It's the key. So it's here. And the door opens at the click here, which I think is slightly delayed too. I guess we could put it at 0, 2 or something. The click. Click. After 0, 2 seconds. And now that time is lower because it's waiting that one and then that one. Okay. Oh, I got a message. Okay, I'm gonna answer the question after that. Okay. Wonderful. So I think the click is slow enough that we can play it instantly. So the question is, does it matter where you place them? I think if the game, for example, keeps that camera at a certain position, it won't matter because, or at least it won't matter a lot because all the sounds are positioned the same. But let's say, for example, you have FPS and you move around in the scene. Positioning them specifically allows you to have them specialized and be aware, that object interacted slightly on my right or slightly on my left. and that can feel better to hear. And the spatialization is also great. If a sound happens far away from you, it's gonna be lower. That's what's useful with the position of them. So yes. Let me just lower the clong. I think it's too loud. Okay. We do have some VFX. Should I implement them? Shouldn't be too difficult. If I do an animation player, let's say it's effect player, and I do unlock here, I could add them even directly on the objects. Okay, I think I'm gonna mainly implement the key, and then we will move on. That should be enough. Whoop. Make it slightly more visible. Oh yeah, and I also need to I guess we can play with the visibility. So it's key collected. And now on the unlock, I can make it so it appears for a short time here. And for the door, for example, it starts to open at 0.5. Maybe we can show up another effect at that time, 0.75. Okay. Actually, I can do that then. Shouldn't be too difficult. Door open VFX. Boom. Some alpha. I'm gonna do it very approximately. Hope you don't mind. Okay, something like this. And door opening. So by default, I want them invisible, and then I show them for a short duration. Like, not that much than this. I hope. Yes, it does what I expect. That one. Let's close this. Hope you can see the visibility. Yes, you can see the visibility. Wonderful. And whoop. Something like this. Now, if I go on to that and I had the effect play, hey, should be player. Otherwise, it's gonna feel repetitive. Let's move it with the animation player and add it with the animation player here. It's repetitive, but I think it's okay. Okay. Let's try. Oh no, it doesn't stop showing. Why? I guess it's because that is slightly after. Let's just increase the duration of the animation and it should work just fine. Yay! Maybe one last thing that we might want to do is the effect, clips through the ground. I think that's not great. In order to avoid this, we can just say no dev test. And I think that will solve our issue. Something like this. I believe it might show a slight effect. Let me see in this. Now, gonna just move the environment just for a short time. Yes. The FX is also hidden a little bit, so I would adjust it to unshade as well. So that way it's not affected by I believe the reflection, but yeah. Whoop. All right, now we have a final look. All right, awesome. So we have our little door that we were able to script. I think the scripting part is not too complex to follow. I don't know if you need a few comments, but I think it's fairly easy to understand it. Let me know otherwise. I can maybe point. As you can see, there's also some warning here. It's a bit just because Godot wants you to be explicit about the fact you don't use certain arguments here, these ones. And to be explicit about it, you can write an underscore like so. But that's it. Otherwise, I believe it looks great. Maybe, for example, if you want maybe your script to be more legible, you could do this, for example. Maybe animation and VFX. Maybe meshes. Something like this. Even you could do that. Like a very huge section. If that can help with the readability, that's up to you. Same for that one. I think it's material. So, yeah. All right. Let's go back to the presentation. So, what happened? Now, by scripting a door, by starting from art, we were able to verify what we constructed. We had a reliable way to check if we made any kind of mistake in our implementation. We could easily rely on it, on the concepts. But it's also tailored, so the code cannot necessarily be blotted. It's just made just for that need, and it answers the need in a very basic way, but it works. So I think that's pretty cool. And the fact it's tailored constraint less the asset implementation. We can consider ways we could implement them differently because it's open for that by default. And now the limitation becomes technical more than design, like because the question becomes, is it possible to implement this? Can we find a way to do this rather than what are we doing? And I think that can be interesting because returning to technical limitation in by today's standard is useful because it's less frequent we have technical limitation, but it's still something that appears, especially as you create multiple doors, you can see some patterns and possibly like find ways to improve how you script these doors. Maybe they reuse certain part of the code rather than being all individual stuff. But you kind of want to script them bespoke by default before you're going to move on to thinking of other approach. Hey, thank you for the donation, door whisperer. That's a funny one. All right. And I think we can also find some cool use case for that. I think it can be cool because it opens to contributions. Anyone in the team can contribute, share ID, draw some stuff, and then have individual, more specialized in the team provide feedbacks. It can be in audio or other stuff. We can use what has already been created to create new things also, because we have a few documents or drawings. It can serve as a support to go further. It's also meaningful because it contains a lot of information, so you can use that for discussion, planning. We can ask everyone the question how many interaction an object will support, and we can represent that even without the engine. That can enrich decisions we make based on intent, like what kind of emotion or experience we want to evoke. That's the sort of thing that is more easily considered from that angle. And I think it's also flexible because it can be easy to make adjustment later, decide what we keep, what we skip. And we have many ways to implement things, so that's convenient. We can, for example, decide, we had all of these doors, but we decided to not do them. We're just gonna do one of the selected, and we can explain why, and that can inform a lot on the future decision too. And it is, however, slow most of the time compared to the previous approach, because we have to do a lot of more artistic labor, and that is not cheap. But I believe it can be made in a way that is quick enough that we can do first iterations and preview something without having to dive into very long session. We kind of want to have proof of concepts before we push further and polish, sort of. Okay. So, closing thoughts. As you can see, there's no best approach. They are just more optimal approaches depending on what you are trying to achieve. There's even more ways we could build game, and I believe it's quite exciting. How about starting from music, a texture, or a sound, for example? I hope what I shared today was valuable to enrich your perspective on making games. Thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Did I miss anything? Thank you. I'm waiting a little bit in case you want to write something, and then I'll be closing today's presentation. Just to let you know, tomorrow we're still doing streams. If you want to follow some of them, there's one about math but cuter. At least we're starting with that. Over portfolio review and a presentation, a stream about the cinematics. All right. I don't think we have any question. But yeah, thank you so much for the donations that goes to the charity. I hope you had a good time, and see you next time.